Hello guys and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at two musicality concepts that nobody talks about and how they can help you elevate your tango to the next level. So, how are these three tango concepts going to help you improve your musicality? The idea behind these concepts is to create a deeper understanding of the tango music and the tango dance, and in turn that will lead from the understanding of these three concepts, from the internalization, it will lead to a greater, better musical expression in your dance. These are not concepts or tips that will tell you, well, if you're listening to this orchestra, you should dance this way, or if you listen to this syncopa or whatever, then you should express it in this other way. Because if you do not understand the underlying fundamentals, then there's no way you would be able to do it right anyways. So I strongly believe that understanding these three concepts will lead to an improved musicality on anyone. So with that out of the way, let's get into the first point. Mood. So what is mood? Well, a lot of people tend to think that tango is sensual or sexual, or it's a sort of connection like that. Well, that couldn't be farther away from the truth. If you actually listen to the tango lyrics and what they're talking about, if you know Spanish, or if you don't, I recommend you translate some. They usually talk about very heartfelt moments of their life, usually related to love or loss or longing, nostalgia. They're all very deep emotions, but they're not sexual, they're not sensual. There's nothing that's it's actually the opposite. What tango really talks about is very intimate stuff. So, and that's kind of the mood that you need to create when you're dancing with somebody. That mood of intimacy. The other person and you need to get into this mood of feeling intimate with each other. Intimate, not as in sensual or sexual, intimate as in intimate, a real heartfelt connection between two people and a music that is, evoking different emotions on those people. So when we talk about mood, is that you need to come into the dance with this idea that you're gonna generate this mood, and it's not about you doing steps or jumping around or doing crazy giros or sacadas. And think about it. If the goal is to generate an intimate mood, a mood for intimacy where the other person can feel comfortable sharing with you their deep emotions, right? Then do you think it's possible to have this sort of intimate moment on a roller coaster? It's not possible. When you're on a roller coaster, you're feeling a lot of things, but it's impossible to generate this intimate mood. And it's the same when you're dancing. If you're dancing and you're moving constantly, if you're moving aggressively, very fast, doing a lot of steps all the time, and you don't calm down, you don't just take your time to express, take your time between each step, and enjoy each step, then it's impossible to generate this sort of mood, this sort of emotion. And a lot of people tell you that, well, you should do less steps, you should calm down, you should pause more, you should breathe more when you're dancing, right? Everyone tells you that. But, and this is why I say that having an understanding of the concepts is what will make you a better dancer. If I just tell you that, just do less steps, well, less steps compared to what? And why? Why should I do less steps? If there's no goal in your mind, if there's no understanding of why doing all these steps is bad, then there's no way you'd actually ever achieve that, right? Because you would just be doing as told without actually understanding and having a goal in mind. Well, the goal is to create an intimate moment. If I take these actions, be it move very fast all the time, not pause enough, What kind of mood am I creating? And there's no way anybody can tell you, well, you need to pause X amount of times, or if the tango is 3 minutes long, they need to at least spend, I don't know, 25 seconds pausing and 35 more seconds breathing. There's no formula. It just comes from a understanding and appreciation of what you want to achieve, and from there you can build this pause, this intimacy that that is what tango is really about. That's what they talk about, right? That's what the tango's lyrics tell you. So yes, point one, very important, mood. Concept number two is enjoyment. So a lot of people come into tango just with a light-hearted attitude, just wanting to have fun and relax. And it's fine, whatever gets them into tango, right? But over time, you start listening to tango and you start listening to the lyrics, as we are just talking about, and you realize that it's not lighthearted. Tango is not lighthearted. Tango is actually very deep, very profound. People are pouring their emotions into these lyrics, into this music. But somehow people, after years of dancing, still don't come around to realize that what they're dancing to is not lighthearted and fun. Um, so, and this idea of enjoyment is what I want to bring to the table here. What is the difference between enjoyment and fun? Well, fun is a more lighthearted, immediate gratification that you get from doing something. For example, kicking a ball against the wall is fun, right? But there's there's nothing more to it. It's just fun. And if you dance tango, which has so much to offer, right? There are other dances that are lighthearted, but if you come into tango, it has so much to offer, right? In terms of emotions, in terms of profoundness, intimacy, that if you just dance it with this lighthearted, fun idea, and you're just doing step because it feels good physically, just, I move this way and it's fun, right? Then you're missing out on a lot. So what I want to bring to the table is the concept of enjoyment. What is the difference between enjoyment and fun? Enjoyment is a more long-term gratification they get from something. Although you might not be having fun, you are enjoying it. This enjoyment will bring longer lasting feelings of fulfillment and emotion than just simple fun, which, don't get me wrong, is good to have, but when you're dancing slowly, connecting with the other person, generating this intimate moment with the other person, that can be everlasting. That can last all your life. You could remember that forever. Enjoyment is a more profound feeling. It's a more profound emotion. It's longer lasting, but it's also harder to achieve. And tango has the potential to give you very, very strong enjoyment and moments, but they can only happen if you're predisposed to let them happen. If you come to tango with the idea of just having fun, you're gonna miss out on all the enjoyment, right? For a second or 10 minutes of fun, you're gonna miss out on something that could be truly special, on a connection that could be truly special, and not through banal fun, but through deep emotion, deep enjoyment, deep intimate connection. Let me give an example to illustrate. Let's say somebody's going through a period of grief, right? They just lost somebody, or they're having a hard time with that, and you go out to dance with them, and you dance to Color Cielo from D'Arienzo and Laborde. That song talks about the loss. Somebody lost their loved one, and they're pouring their heart out. It's a very evocative song about grief. So if you just come out and just have fun, that's it could be good now, but is it going to be a powerful moment for you, for them, for both of you? Are you going to remember that tomorrow, the day after, next year, in 10 years? But what if you're able to connect with their grief through the dance? What if you're able to connect to their feelings, and that person can connect to yours through the music? and through the dance. That can be a very, very powerful moment. One of those moments that only happen once in a lifetime or twice or a few times, you know? But you need to allow that to happen. That cannot happen if you're, again, if you don't come with this predisposition of allowing that to happen. And I hear you saying, well, how is this related to musicality? I thought this was about musicality. Well, what is musicality really? I mean, a lot of people think that musicality is taking a step when there's a sound in the music, right? But what it really is to express something that occurs in the music on your dance. That something doesn't have to be a sound. It doesn't have to be a the bandoneon or the violin. It could be an emotion. It should be an emotion and other things, right? But it should be the emotion. And so if you're not representing the emotion of the song, if you cannot connect with it, then you're not being musical. It doesn't matter if there's a million piano solos or and you step on every single one. If you do everything perfectly, if you cannot connect with the emotion that the music is giving you, then you're not being musical. And concept number 3 is going to be subtlety. This is another big thing that people tend to do, which is they they don't actually listen to the subtleties in the music. And as I said on the previous video, if you watched the previous video about moment zero, at the end I talked about how people tend to put the musicality on moment 2, which is when you're stepping into, when you're taking that step, and that it would help improve your musicality if you're able to put the musicality on moment 3 and moment 1 and moment 0. So, and this is a little bit of that. If you're always putting the musicality on step 2, always taking a step, always moving when there's a sound in the music, then you're being very literal with the music. So think about this. What would you do if you could only take 2 steps maximum every 8 tempos? That means that in this section of the music, you would only be able to take 2 steps, and you would be able you need to do that for the whole tango, for the whole tanda. Do you think you'd be able to enjoy that tanda, and how do you think you'd be able to differentiate between, different moments in the music with just 2 steps, right? And when you actually start trying to do that, you'll actually start listening to all the subtleties that exist and all the ways you can express within just 2 steps or one, right? One every 8 tempos or 2 every 8 tempos. There's a lot to express in the music, and you're not hearing it because you're not giving yourself the chance to hear it, because you're too caught up doing steps. And the only way to improve this is to actually stop doing the steps and start listening to the music, giving yourself the chance to interpret the subtleties. For example, if you check out that section of music that we just listened to from Color Cielo, you'll notice that the main melody kind of like breathes, kind of like closes at the end, right? It kind of resolves a little bit, right? And then it starts again in the next compás, or whatever it's called in English. You could use that feeling of closure, of release that the melody is giving you, and you could link it with the gathering of your free leg after you take a step. So you gather with that feeling of closure and release, and you actually finish the step in place and wait for the melody to start again to keep moving. That only takes one. You could do that with 1 or 2 steps, right? But you could never do that if you're doing step after step after step. So, those have been the 3 concepts that nobody talks about that will help you improve your tango. Like I said, these are concepts that are deeply intertwined, and that these are not tips and tricks that you can just, incorporate into your music right away. This is stuff that you have to ask yourself. What do you want from tango? Why are you dancing tango? What are you trying to achieve? Is it your goal to have fun, or is it your goal to, create a memorable experience for you and your partner when you're dancing? And I truly believe that understanding these concepts will help you improve your musicality, because musicality, it's an experience, right? It's not matching a movement with a sound. It's an experience, right? It's an expression of the emotions, of the sounds, of a lot of things, from the music, from the lyrics, and from the emotions that both of you are feeling. So understanding this will lead to you being able to create a better experience, in musical experience, in the dance floor. So thank you very much for watching. Please feel free to leave your comments down below and let me know what you think, if you agree or disagree. And thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.